What's going on, everybody? Of course, we're back in the workshop again. Tool review coming in hot. The Flameless portable induction heater by SP Tools. Let's open up this gem and see what it does. Of course, let's bring it in for the close-up first up. This is a portable induction heater, okay? This is what we're actually going to get in the box. We'll open that up in a sec. And first off, let's get that part number for anyone that's keen to have a look. Now, obviously, the features of this is the Kevlar coating around these electrodes. Now, the reason for induction heaters in this case here is because you're not using a naked flame with your acetylene or your LPG gases. So, of course, this here works well in certain areas in the car, truck, header, bobcat, and also outside in the elements as well to an extent. Obviously, you're not mucking around with a naked flame out there. You're using electric. Obviously, of course, be in a controlled environment and safety procedures in effect. The idea is obviously it's using electric current to circle inside that coil to heat up what we are trying to do. In a case, an example I'll give you in a sec, we're going to heat up this nut. For the example of this purpose, obviously this is all right. We're going to heat this up to predict that if this was a really, really rusted nut on this bolt. Of course, we've got our generalized stuff there, if I can try and make this focus. Obviously 800 degrees within seconds, air-cooled, overheat protection, all that sort of stuff. And as you can see, it's good for heating the nuts, the bolts, the bearings, the pipe suspension, drive shafts, gears, Lambert probes, and more. As you can see, we've got our straight coil in there, our M10 and 12. We've got a 90-degree coil for an M12. We've got a special heating hook as well as a flexible wire. Enough about me talking about it, let's open it up. Obviously coming in this nice blow-molded case to keep it protected. Great for obviously putting it away in the workshop or in the service truck as well. And bam. There is the gem itself, quite small and compact. Well, let's get it out of the box. Here it is right here. First off, we'll start off with all our coils that are included in this kit. We've got the ability to use this type of coil to shape around certain objects. We've obviously got your straight type, we've got your flat type, and we've got our side types here, the M10 and M12s. Obviously, the mastermind of the operation, the induction heater itself, with obviously our power cord, which is a 10 amp, obviously down to our gun here, which we put our probes in. Of course, as you can see, we've got our two holes there. We've got our screws there to lock in our attachments. Trying to do this with one hand. Obviously, we locate the two holes, push that right down till it's quite nice and firm. Then we tighten up to the coil, making sure that we've got a great connection between the two, that they are nice and tight. Okay, so we've turned our unit on, and the light is green. Obviously, right up the top here, it's got the LED operation guide. Very simple to use. Obviously, green is meaning our standby, orange is working, and obviously the rest is pretty self-explanatory. Changed and actually put the side one on here just as an example. And again, we want to try and keep at least 3 to 5 mil away from the material we are trying to heat. Of course, obviously, safety first. Chuck those safety glasses on. Let's get into it. Also, we've turned around, we've changed, we've gone to an M12, a little bit more rustier, to be able to give you what's going to happen there. So, without further ado, let's pick up this gem. Green light's on, we're ready to go. Here is our trigger, and we are going to, obviously, we sit it over here nicely with a space of about 3 to 5 mil. So, obviously, we've got our green light. We are now in orange. We're going to go over and watch that thing change colour. Now again, trying to do this with one hand without shaking is a bit of a mission, but give it time. You can see that it's starting to change a bit of a colour. It's going a bit darker. So we are getting some heat. Geez, I'm shaking a bit, aren't I? So it doesn't take too long for this to heat up to a certain temperature. Now remember, certain nuts or certain things may not need the full blown heat. Other times to get it out, it may need it. So obviously here we are, going to just try and heat this up red hot. Now again, this is an M12, it's going to take its time, but you're not going to be waiting 30 minutes. You're going to be waiting not too far. You can see it's turning that bit of a red now. We're going to release this in a sec because I'm shaking the buggery, and there it is right there. We put that down, look at that. So let's quickly get that. I think I've missed the boat. 255 degrees. Now obviously it went a bit quicker than what I thought, but again, I was shaking, trying to do this with one hand. Okay, so we've let that cool down. We're going to go again. I'm going to try and get a bit hotter. I've got the phone on the on my little tripod, so I'm going to try and hold this quite steady, and we're going to really give this some heat. Okay. As you can see, it's changing its colour as it's getting hotter. Now again, I'm keeping that quite steady, so yeah, depending on what you're doing, it has got the ability, but remember to try and keep the 3 to 5 mil gap between. As you can see, she's getting up there a bit now. It's getting hotter, getting hotter. Now I'm going to grab the gun, getting ready to go, because I want to see what we can really get this up to. Now that's bloody, look at that. She's glowing hot. And release. $306. That is bloody hot. Again, just remember, your heating ability is going to be based on what you are trying to achieve. In that sense there, obviously, again, like I said at the start, we're using this as an example. If that was really, really rusty, of course, you're going to put a fair bit of heat to get it off. But in this case here, we're going to a medium, which is where we're at. As you can see, she got up to some good degrees there, and it can go further, I'm sure. But obviously, for this purpose here, we're going to go to a certain medium. A quick one on this flat coil I talked about before. The shape here is intended for heating the sheet metal and for straightening a small dents in the car bodies or anything like that. The flat coil also can peel off stickers, sealants and putties, etc. like that. So it's a really good type to have in this kit as well. Again, like I said before, this is our type where we can mold it to what we need to get done, okay, around a shaft or a certain bearing or anything like that. There you go, a good overview of the Flameless portable induction heater from SP Tools. Now let's talk price. Looking on the internet as of today, you're looking at about $1,800 for this unit. Look, for some people that may seem quite expensive, but just remember, using this type of tool, you're getting rid of the LPG, acetylene and oxy sort of stuff when you're trying to take something apart. Flames can be dangerous, obviously, and can start fires. This year, it's controlled to a certain extent. Again, if you put a rag on it, of course the rag's going to incinerate, so, just be careful where you are doing this. But the ability is obviously getting into tight spots into engines or confined spaces. This is very, very handy to have. So, very good to have around the workshop, I must admit. It is one of those things that you are going to work towards. But again, got the case to carry around for in the service truck or anything like that. Runs off your general 240 volt. You can also probably chuck it on a generator to use it out in the field if you need to. Now, if you've got any questions, just remember, hit me up in that comment section and I'll catch you later. Cheers.